I just learned something that with the interlude and your assignments, your very first assignment, you only get these first two. But then once you complete those, I got all of these that just showed up. That's kind of cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about these assignments and where you should be using them. If you notice for most of the assignments, when whatever extra is more of these pages, which are like helps for your keeper levels to go up. And they also give you, this one gives you just extra Gyros. This one gives you extra EXP potions. And then this one gives you extra pieces for your levels, for your upgrading of your people. So what's really good about this one is that once you start to go past level 20, you get more of these actual pieces. So on my main account, I believe I get like 18 of these. So I get 4 plus 18. So these ones are really good to put like your highest units in for an assignment. And then the other ones down here, I don't really care about getting more of these pages now. My big main account, I just want to get the main piece. So this set here gets my lowest actual units. Okay, so let's go look at what do I use now in my main account. I do get this all the time, so let's deploy it, but let's get like our lowest level units for that one. Okay, so I got that going, and I'm going to get 20 silver from that. The next one is definitely going to be just the upgrade pieces. So let's go get this from Equir, because I will need... Actually, I'm going to need a lot more Caro, I believe, unless I get Murphy. As soon as I get Murphy, then I'm going to switch to getting a lot more Equir, but Murphy might take a while to show up. So I'm going to put the top two, and you can see now I get 5 extra pieces of this. And that's really awesome for me in this account, so I'm going to do that. And now some of the other things to get are down here, but they haven't unlocked it yet. I definitely get this one, which is the Mithril pieces, which helps you with building up your cards. And this also helps you with building up your cards. So these two are big. And these are also all the pieces that help you to build up your cards. So those are also, again, really big. This one's pretty good too. So getting these badges, but right now I'm getting showered in badges. So I don't really need to worry about that. That's more once you actually complete a lot of the game, you struggle to get badges because you get these as a reward just for completing a level for the first time to 3 stars. And you can see I'm doing that a lot right now. So I have tons of badges. We're going to go here into these Aqueous pieces. All right, and we'll deploy from that. Okay. And now it's going to take 20 hours to get this back. That's what I thought was going to, how long it was going to take. But it looks like the first one's 20 minutes and then the next 3 are 20 hours. Now that I sent on 3, this battle pass happens. So I have to just send on the units. And now I got up to level 9. Getting some more Gyros here. Awesome. And now I'm up to 1.7 million, which is really great. I never had that when I first started my account, again, just because we had to actually pay to upgrade all of these wheels. So we would have pieces, and to combine them, we had to like actually do an ascension, and each one of those cost rows to actually upgrade, and it just hurt so much because I would use all of this, all my money here, just to upgrade these wheels that I've been pulling. So that's definitely a huge quality of life upgrade for everybody who is playing this account now. Just to go back to what wheels I'm trying to get. So I got this wheel, which is a limited wheel. And this is for Salve. And this is a pretty big thing where the wielder's shield generation +9 and HP recovery +9. So Salve's HP recovery is in Crimson Furnace, the little red ball. And at the end of odd turns, the wielder's crit rate +3. Gaining 5 illness. At the end of even turns, the wielder's crit damage increases by 30%, or by 3%, gaining 60 key fire. And if the current realm is Caro, the maximum accumulation of Crimson Furnace is increased by 22%. Now, one of the things that you kind of notice is there's little stars here. Let's go and look at some wheels that have the stars. Actually, we can just go here with it by click Ascension. I can see that when I get the next star, so I put next, what happens is these little blue values inside of here go up. So right now at my current rate, I have +9. When I get the next one, I get +11 shield generation. Okay. And then once I go above the 3 stars, so you can see that this one's 5. What it's doing is it's increasing the main stat up here. So this main stat, so this one has death res, and then this one also has death res, and you can see that this is just E1. So I only have 25.2 death res, and this one is 35.7. Now, when this SR wheel gets all the way up to plus 12, it equals the death res of one of the limited wheels just at E0. So you can see that this one is 50.4%, and this death res is 35.7%. So once I get up to 12, it's going to equal 50.4%. But this wheel can go all the way up to double this death res. So it will go up to 100.8%, which is just really, really awesome. I haven't had to use death res yet, but this is already my strategy for some of the harder levels. I'm going to have death res wheels on my units, and then you're going to see how easy that is with Feint, especially Feint using her own wheel, to be able to make it through some levels. The other thing that I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to get this Blade of the Titan to plus 12, so that once you have a limited wheel, or not a limited wheel, an SSR wheel, so like this gold background wheel plus 12, you can match it with another SSR wheel. So I'm going to be able to have Blade plus this wheel on. That's why we're saying to you to like pull one of these wheels that are really big. So actually these 4 up here that I already have are really important wheels. And if you just have one copy of each of them, that's great. And then you can get one of them to plus 12. Most people get this wheel first. So I'm just going to stop there because I don't want you to think about other odd strategies. Okay, maybe I will. I got this wheel plus 12 first, just because I really love death res. And some people looked at me like I was weird getting death res. Why would I need it? And now a lot of people get death res in order to be able to do levels that are harder for them when they're lower leveled. And they're kind of seeing the value of death res at this point. Okay, let's go back into our main campaign. Let's see how far I'm at. 64%, almost done chapter 3. Let's again put this on. We'll join go stream live on Discord, and we'll see if anybody joins me. Okay, and we'll go here. I don't like having my main damage dealer there. That's just because when I borrowed them, they shift around the team, which is kind of annoying to me. Ellie. So we're doing Aqueer and Ultra today. I've already done the first part of it, but what I intentionally did is that I grabbed all 3 of the like best starting standard units. So we had this one with Feint. I'll just move this team around. So you got to see Feint, and you got to see Kekas, and now you're getting to see Winkle. So all 3 of them in a starting team, and just how they work. And Winkle with Vortis is just awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah, because what I can do is, I can use Winkle to exalt, so she'll trigger that pursuit, but then she helps one of these other 2 units exalt, so then you trigger pursuit twice in the same turn, really fast.
I think Winkle's only really good if you run her with Caucus, but
oh no,
I don't know.
I'm trying to get Murphy, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean Murphy is just amazing. I love Murphy so much. I already liked Murphy before, but Vortex has sort of opened my eyes to how good Murphy actually is.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to make the main team to get Murphy. So right now I'm pulling on the that 4 banner. What is it called? Millennial banner or something, where you get 4 limiteds. That's that banner, right? So the 4 banner of Arc 1 limiteds, and I'm really hoping to get Murphy. If I do, then I have like my perfect dream team for this whole battle. It's gonna be awesome.
Who else did you select?
So I randomly got Salvador, and then I'm gonna add Phaeton. So I don't know if you know this, because I think this was after your time. So the strongest team for Arc 1 final battle is actually Salvador Blue. So to have Vortis plus Salvador is going to be awesome.
I did hard mode and yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I like it was the only fight left that I didn't have 3-star Deathless.
Okay.
So I did that, and I still hate that fight. And I'm glad to confirm that it's still really bad.
Yeah. And it's going to be weird because what I'm going to show is just the power of feint. So you know how like a lot of people have been asking recently about like the chapter 5 boss, right?
Yes.
And how hard it's been. So what I'm going to be showing is just how OP feint is with Salvador, and it's going to be like, I don't care if they hit me, I can die 7 times and I can just outlast this battle and beat them. And it's just going to be such a like eye opener to the power of like an actual standard unit with the proper wheels attached, right?
Yeah, for sure. I actually need to get into the habit of using feint more. I got gaslit by Spooky into finally leveling her exiled up to level 6 after I've been hoarding like all materials for Vortex.
Yeah. It's all right. Like that's what I'm just showing. So I'm showing all of these battles, but the hard part right now, as you can see, like I'm just basically beating the level within turn 1 or 2. So you can just see how powerful Vortis is when built right. And I actually followed your advice. The thing that's kind of interesting is I put this. These are her wheels. So this one is each card played by the wielder gain 30 key flares. So when you just play the reload again and again, she just makes it so you can use a posse. So
Yeah,
it's weird. It's not a like damage dealing wheel. It's a wheel just to gain key flare so that I can just trigger this often, which is
I,
such
I
a weird
really wish
strategy.
her event wheel was
Pardon?
better. Like, I really wish her event wheel was like better. It's so bad.
Well, that might be the wheel I'm using because I just decided to go out for Salvador's wheel and then just really go hard for Murphy. Because if I get Murphy on this count, it becomes so much easier. But as you know, I have a really low chance of getting her, and it's 4 units that I can pull from. So like it might take me like, I don't know, 400 pulls before I actually get her. So I just like said, screw it, let's start right off the bat. I did get Horla, but I decided not to show Horla just yet because it's too complicated for a beginner.
Yeah, I think so too. It's also kind of funny because like the silly thing with Vortex is that she actually doesn't need a lot of the best supports in the game. Like if you think about it, Thighs is still good because she's Thighs.
Yeah.
Just even if it was only for like the Vuln and Weakness and the embryos or the super babies. But her dupe mechanic isn't that crazy on Vortex.
No.
Both of her unique cards don't deal damage. Clem isn't that crazy either because she doesn't really need the strength stacking. And although her ult is great for a burst turn, if you play like sub DPS Vortex, it doesn't really do that much. I guess she helps you stall a little longer with the heals. But I think there's like better supports, and Horla also like Vortex doesn't even take that crazy good advantage of Horla. So
No,
you
but
kind of relegate her to some other supports that otherwise wouldn't shine as much.
yeah, but you can actually, I would say that out of all of them, Horla is the best one for her just because like one, you can get the other 3 units to exalt fast. And then you can, once she builds up, if you go into like Horla Red Stance, her exalt, so Vortis's exalt will be really powerful. So I think like she's the only one that kind of makes sense because all the rest of them, unless you're getting them all to get more Elmas, it's not really like the best units on your team, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I could have shown, maybe I'll show at the very end, Horla, because I think it would be nice to see, but it's kind of like, this is kind of complicated to talk about what she's doing, especially when I'm first just talking about the Ultra Realm mechanic and then going into such a complicated unit like Horla. Even though she's really not, it's just, she's very subtle with how to use her properly. And that subtlety kind of takes a little bit of time for beginners.
Oh, for sure. Like when I first got Horla, it was kind of a battle on its own for me because I thought that I knew Horla was good, right? Like everybody knows that Horla is good. But after a while, like, because she is so subtle in what she does, she doesn't have like that crazy moment, you know, where she's like, oh my god, Orlac just carried my fight over here. she's much more like a persistent buffer. So it was always like, well, I know she's good, but she just doesn't feel good because she doesn't have that oomph factor, you know?
Yeah, it's not loud and in your face, which I totally get. But the part is then once you get used to like how nice she like makes the whole team feel, once you stop playing her, and then also I have her OE, right? But once you like stop playing her and you play another team, you're like, why is everything going so slow? And you're like, oh, there's a secret little buff going on in the background. I forgot
I've
about
been
that.
watching people play Horla with Daffodil because I'm like actively trying to find a use for my Daff.
Okay.
And seeing them set up like burst turns with Joy and the Aliemus carryover is just like, it makes so much sense because even the 2 cost with counter, it takes like at least 6 Aliemus to play if you don't have like a Titan proc. So it's
Yeah,
like, oh, suddenly Joy stance makes a lot more sense.
absolutely, right? So um that's kind of one of the ones, and I'm even playing, even when I'm not playing Ultra as a team, I'm still setting up like everything. You can just see how much Ultras influence my like playstyle. All of this is like I didn't use any of my Elmas because I'm waiting for the giant burst turn. Okay, so I'm holding that. I also the people here probably have seen that I naturally go for computation to get more arithmetica and a draw. Like that's what I'm like naturally just picking, and then I just play around with having those so much. Oh, I have to get these illusions. So it's kind of funny that when you're just saying like how much you have to set up, because I've just gotten used to like needing to set up all the time. So I just always like set up my teams for like the next big battle.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's
I mean,
funny
Ultra
because
is a lot about setup.
yeah. But it's just funny because like I don't need the setup at all. I can just like basically destroy with this whole team constantly. I don't want to sell that card. While I'm talking to you, don't sell something stupid. I don't need to buy that. Let's buy this one. Let's get a whole bunch of Black Sigil and then go to town with like buying things. And people can see what that looks like. I'll hold from that one. I know I have a better shop somewhere else. Yeah, so you like playing Corpo. What do you love about Corpo? Let's ask you that. Let's interview you while you're here.
Oh, sure. Well, people can like listen to this as like a background podcast.
Yeah, well, they've
Um,
kind of seen me play a lot, so it's like, after so long, there's so many times you can see one-shotting from Vortis, right? One shot again.
yeah, it's insane. It's especially funny when you consider that most of her power is in her Soul Forge, which isn't even like viable for Arc 1. But yeah, um, it's kind of funny because I started the game out with Tawil. Like I started before the second Annie when Tawil banner was up,
Okay.
and I got baited into pulling Tawil, and so I played Tawil in blue, and sometimes I would get like this lightning card, and I was like, oh my god, this card is like so fun. Like it goes down in cost, and then you get like this huge dopamine when you play it. So I was really hyped because I didn't really know how Tawil worked. I didn't know that it's just a card of another character because I never read the kit.
Yeah,
Because
and
who does that, right?
also the other part is like I think she's like one of the worst units for a new player because like she's so complicated with so many cards that come up, and you don't know what any of them do at that point. You're just like, oh look, this is a cool card, which is what you just experienced.
Yeah, for sure. And then second Annie hit, and I was an Acre player, and I wanted to get an Acre unit, right? Logically. But the only selector unit that you could get was Corpo, because you only had like Ultra or Chaos or Karo, and there was such a severe lack of Acre units because G Murphy wasn't out yet. So I was like, okay, I'll try the Corpo trial, and that's when I found out that her card was the Lightning card. And
Ah,
during second Annie, all the units reran as well. There was like a daily rotating rerun banner. So I instantly pulled Corpo to like E3 because you get so many pulls, and then she carried me throughout like the entire story, and it was super fun. I had like I really loved Corpo's playstyle,
Mm-hmm.
and I sometimes had an issue with bricking in this game, especially if you're not as experienced as a player with like map layouts or bosses and mechanics, and you get like a bunch of symptoms. Sometimes you just brick really, really hard. But with
Uh,
playing discard, it doesn't really matter because you can just shuffle through your deck so fast that Corpo helped me kind of get consistency that I was lacking before, and I really appreciated that about her.
oh yeah,
And that's
totally.
kind of how I fell in love with her.
And like,
I don't know, I just have like some huge achievements for the first time I got that were all like with her, and that just made me like the character even more.
and I've been talking about this guy splitting. Well, that's great. I'm glad that you shared that because it's kind of cool just to hear. Like, we all have our own favorite units, and it kind of comes down to like when you were first playing the game and like what was on banner and like what did you discover, and then you're like, oh my god, I really love this unit, right? So for me, it was Daffodil was on banner, and with her, I kind of quickly learned that. So I love Magic the Gathering, and like in Magic, I really love black as my favorite color, and Ultra just seems very like Demir, which is black and blue color together. So I was like, okay, let's go with this. And then, as you know, I was coaching rock climbing, and with it, one of the things that I say a lot to my kids is something called EK, which is like a Japanese term for let's go, like you can do this. And both now, um, well, Daffodil was saying like EK all the time when she plays a card, but now also Corpo says EK. So it's just like, I mean, not
Oh,
Corpo,
does she?
Vortis says EK. And I'm just like, oh, you're another one. So it brings back some happy memories of just like yelling at kids. So
Damn.
yeah.
No, it's really. I think it's kind of funny because I would have never picked Corpo normally because I think her visual design isn't the most intriguing. I
That's
mean, I
interesting.
don't think
So
she looks bad,
for
but I
me,
think there's like much cooler characters.
yeah, for me, she was like actually my no, my first blue character that I allowed myself to play, and everybody's like, "You're playing them." It was a pretty funny moment because I was like not playing at all that much blue, or like any blue, and there was some person in chat. It actually was Aurora, and he was like, how do you like who has been playing like they should really be playing like Jenkins with Corpo because like that's like seems like it would be amazing on paper." And then people were like, yeah, I'm playing that, and then they were just like, you Callie's playing Corpo plus Jenkins, and I'm like, yep. And the whole reason I got her was not so much like her aesthetic, but the fact that she climbs a mountain. I was like, oh, I have to have the mountain character.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. No, it's just like my favorite character visually is Wanda,
Mm.
but well, yeah.
Why
And then
Wanda? What do you love about her?
oh, I love her design just in general. I think she looks. Wait, let me pull her up because I'm in Mori. I mean, I love her whole aesthetic. I think her corset is really cool, like her whole spike aesthetic. She has sort of like a soft gothic aesthetic, like almost a cyber goth kind of like aesthetic. And I just really love that. And she just looks cool. I don't know.
I'm also really loving my Wanda too. The only part that kind of sucks is like she doesn't gain because people always talked about how bad Wanda was when I started. Okay, so like she was quote unquote like the worst character in the game, but now I kind of see how people are like just biased in that opinion because like I can make Wanda good, but it does require like a different play style. And I do think that Caster really like jumped her up because like I can do so much more with Wanda because Caster gives me so much time.
Mhm.
But like I'm now like also in love with her play, but I really wish that she just gained a little bit more counter. So I'm so hopeful for Arachne. Like I got Wanda to almost OE, so she's +3. Just so if Arachne like works really well with her, like it's yeah, I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, I also hope that Arachne is a counter unit. Mostly because I don't want to run 24. Because my
Nice.
24 is not invested.
Well, 24 also is kind of like dropped a little bit. Like the only real strong, viable team, like some people still use her occasionally with 24 blue, but it is actually 24 DAF. And like that one guy who like just started playing her randomly out of the blue. I was just like, you're playing 24 DAF? That's like a, 2-year-old team. So what started you on that?
Yeah, it's really funny because I talked to him a little bit. But we like I really wanted to pull Wanda, which is why I was constantly like being like, Kelly, should I pull Wanda? I was just waiting for someone to enable my bad choices.
Yeah.
And I talked to him a little bit, and I watched him play as well, and like it does that. Like I watched him clear Clem this D-Tide, and it
Yep.
looked really impressive. But damn, that is a high investment comp, like out of the book.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of it's hard to like. I know I can make Wanda work with caster, but that's also because my caster is like super built up. So like I'm totally fine with building her up, but I didn't need her to be OE for caster. Like it's not needed at all. But if she's like super good with Arachne, so I'm just speculating, 100% speculating that Arachne's gonna help her out, and I really hope she does. If not, then I'll be a little bit disappointed with Arachne. But never. Maybe Arachne's also really good in another way. So we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I had to come back on like Vortex in general because I really, really, really wanted her to be like super good for discard.
Okay.
She's like, oh, I mean, she's not bad for discard, but she's definitely not like a savior of discard or anything, right? She's more just like she synergizes well with OE Corpo because OE Corpo gets like the free tentacles that she wants to eat.
Yes.
Other than like 5 Aliemas on her discard of her free cost, there's nothing really there. There's arguably even a little bit of a counter synergy because you kind of want to have her reload in hand and don't want to discard it. So I
Yep.
was really disappointed at first, and then I was even more disappointed because she felt so bad without her posse. Like it felt so awkward,
Yeah.
but I've really come around to her.
I definitely like. Yeah, her posse makes her like so much better. And I'm kind of like I'm not even highlighting the I barely exalt her in this whole like thing, but people are seeing me spam this posse, and like I don't need to do anything else because you can see just how powerful that posse is. Like this person's gonna die just from me playing posse cards.
Yeah.
I did not get the part that is kind of nice with this new chapter mechanic for this one is I can like do the whole discard thing where you discard your hand and get a whole nother set because I really try to get reload. There we go. But see, that's what Ultra Space is for, is that I can guarantee to get reload. And then that helps with like now killing all the rest of the units. So I think like right now through all of them, like I know I'm biased towards Ultra, but I do like how Ultra gives me the option to get reload easily. Um, unless you get a mechanic that gives you the innate ability for her reload. Otherwise, like you're just kind of waiting to get it. But at the same time, too, I've been beating everybody on like turn one, so waiting isn't really that hard. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah. It's it's a little silly. I didn't I think Ultra is okay with her. I actually think Ultra is like her worst mix.
Interesting.
Maybe not in story. I think in story Chaos is her worst mix. Just because other than like a Tillwell and Hamon, you don't have too much support from the Chaos standard characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's actually like a really silly Ultra mix that you can play.
Which is what?
It's a little crazy because you need to set up with it a lot. But if you play Celeste Cassia
Mm-hmm.
with whoever you want to put last, Murphy being the optimal choice because she's just Murphy. There's some crazy stuff that you can do with Cassia Exalt spamming, especially if she has her image and cycling through your deck. And if you have something like OE Celeste, which isn't the worst thing to access, you can gain all your Arif back and cycle even more and set up tentacle damage and gathering. And it gets to like points where you have like 3 tentacles in general, but you have like 13, 15 tentacle attacks just from all the gathering that happens while you cycle. And it gets to like super, super, super silly points in the game. But it requires a lot of setup and it can get screwed in a lot of things. But since it's all standard units, it's kind of fun to play.
It is kind of cool. All right, I want to highlight this because I think this is finally, I've been waiting for my really long combo and I've never needed it because she just dies, like every unit has just died off of the first hit. So let's see if we can do this properly. So first I'm going to flip into red stance. Did I already use one? I did use one of her pursuits. So I'm going to flip into red stance. I'm going to exalt Kikis first so that I can put vulnerable on the boss. Okay. And then I'm going to, I wish I was kind of thinking a little bit more. I should have used Tink to drop down all these cards. Actually, I can right now. I'll use Tink to drop down all these cards to 0. And now I can play these cards to help gain more ailments for Kikis, but I won't gain enough. I can use Winkle to help raise up Elmas again. And if I had a bigger card that could help raise up Elmas for Kikis, that would have worked better. And now I can actually exalt Vortis and see what happens. And let's see if I can do something to kill him first turn. I can recover 3 Arithmetica, and that will kind of help me, so let's try it. Alright, I have to do 237. They're attacking me, plus the tentacle hits. Let's see. I think I got it. First turn. Yes! Oh, this team's so strong.
It is.
But it's also, like, still just chapter 3. It's kind of hard to, like, I've been describing a lot of... Oh, and here's the final boss for chapter 3. Awesome. So it's kind of hard to describe like what my like big thought process is when you just, kill them within like 2 or 3 hits. This will be a little bit better, but that was the whole big blitz that I was trying to set up, and I actually needed it for that boss. Well, I didn't need it, but I used it there to be able to kill them within 1 turn. There are going to be some bosses where you have to set up like a really big turn in order to survive and beat them. What was like the first boss that you like struggled with, Ellie?
Chapter 5. I think just Hydra has a bad matchup because she's Divine Acor. It's not as bad if you run like proper wheels, especially like the R wheels. But just you have like 1 turn of downtime because you can, if you play Acor, like pure Acor, and run Sangha, you have 1 burst turn on your white stance and then 1 burst turn on your red stance, but then you're stuck in blue stance and you kind of just have to hope that everything works out in the long run. And you also have an issue at the start of Hydra applying debuffs to you. So you need to sort of waver, okay, is it worth to keep the card that removes the debuff for the last phase, or should I play it first phase to like accelerate myself? And I think I was sort of rushing, kind of, because realistically, if you have a really built account, playing on a new account can be a little irritating. And because of that, it was, I think, the first real roadblock I encountered. But yeah, I feel like if you're a new player, that might pose more of an issue than if you're an established player that knows the fights and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you just gave me a really great idea, is that I've been building like these teams to be able to play and just showcase them. So I was like, you know what I should do is show everybody how to beat the chapter 5 boss with like all 3 different versions I have. So I have one that's like pure chaos, right? I have or pure Aqueer with the Chaos, and then I have like this one that you see with Ultra, and then I also have one with Caro, and I should beat the boss with all 3 ways. Rather than just because I was going to use my main team that I'm trying to build up, but that's going to be really powerful. Just because like you just talked about how the boss put bunches of debuffs on you, and Tinct here is going to remove a lot of those debuffs. So just to see that power where you're like, oh, because most people don't really realize how good cleanse is because they kind of think of it, it's not doing damage, right? But when you get like screwed over because of so many debuffs, like cleanse is just awesome to have, right?
Yeah, Tinkt is also just the sort of ideal matchup in that case because she does remove all 3 of the ones that the boss applies. So she's sort of like it's the same as versus Paradise Veil, where she's just a perfect matchup.
Exactly, right? So people won't think of that as this character because they're like, what is she doing? Like, she's not doing much. And then you'll just watch me, like, use her really well against that boss fight. And you'll be like, whoa, that's, something I wasn't expecting, that one of the best units against the boss is this unit I thought was useless the entire rest of the chapters because it didn't really see her value, right? And that was something that, I don't know if you saw the people playing like the chapter 4 Arc 2 boss and then using Tinct to just remove all the debuffs.
Oh yeah, I did that as well.
Nice. See? Right? And it's just like, you probably didn't use Tinkt at all before. And then you're like, wait, she's super powerful here.
No, I didn't. I actually got Tinkt exclusively for that chapter boss because I don't like the whole gimmick that the boss has, especially with the curses it puts on you.
Mm.
And Tinkt synergizes really well with Corpo. Corpo obviously being like the number 1 story killer unit to later chapters in Arc 2 at the moment because of her Soulforge power,
Yeah.
right? So it's just a really nice scenario that they have together.
Yeah, it's kind of nice right now that you have a unit. So you probably have heard that like the 3 units they've been trying to drop down in power have been like Towel has like mechanics that are built against her, right? G-Lot has mechanics that are built against her, and Daffodil has mechanics that are built against her in Arc 2. So you having a unit that actually gets to use their powers is pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think I sort of had like the idea that the first time I wanted to do the Arc 2 chapter bosses on hard mode, I wanted to do them deathless, which might not be like the smartest idea because it's quite demanding, but it's just something that I wanted to do. And I actually failed on Paradise Veil the first time on like the last turn before, and then I was like, okay, well, I have to redo it, and then I got annoyed by it for a couple of weeks, and then I came back with Vortex release, and it was kind of an easy fight. I barely lost HP, and I think I killed it in like 9 turns, which is pretty
Wow, that's
fast.
impressive. Good job. Yeah, it also is like it's a really strong matchup for blue, so it's kind of one of the ones you can see that now like most people are actually beating it with like G Murphy or potentially Corpo in as well. I think like Corpo was the first tech before people really got more into G Murphy. And then but it also helps, like that's one thing just to talk about, it also helps that you just leveled up your account because you're not really supposed to be going and playing those really hard fights when your like account's pretty new. And I wonder, like, I'll probably get there eventually with this account, but I wonder like how hard it's going to be for me to play this because I'm going to try to do everything. Okay, we'll see how far I can go without using one Gnos and not dying at all. Like everything is the first fight and just make it through. Right now I have a lot of hope with it because of how strong she's been for this first start, but we'll see if I can do like the entire thing deathless first try.
Well, let's hope.
It's a big lofty goal, but it's also kind of like I'm also trying to keep this free to play because I was like, oh, I could just like buy the banner and try to get like G Murphy on that like awesome banner we talked about where you get 2 Arc 1 units and then one and then 3 wheels. I'm like, I could get G Murphy, or I could get Murphy there, and then I could totally use it with Vortis. But I think I'm gonna have to wait.
He's a whale.
Exactly. Well, it's also good just to show people, like, that it's possible free to play. So if you spend money, you'll have a little bit easier time. Rather than me just, also a strong player and also spending money on the game. Times 3. So this is a really great one for me to have counter up. Which I do. I already used that attack. This is the horse. This is the very first time I've actually had to make it to turn 3, which is kind of awesome. I'm not surprised it's horse that I have to make it to turn 3, though. First time I've dropped below 50% health. Crazy. All right, there's some stuff back here. Let's see if I can get something out of the shop. I don't have a key yet. That might be really good for me. I love this, but it's so much weaker in Arc 1 than it is in Arc 2. Like, there's so many relics that I have to, like, double guess. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get that one. I'm like, oh, wait, it's not as good as I'm used to it being.
It's kind of silly. It's really funny how when you go from Arc 1 to Arc 2 as a new player, at least for me and from what I gathered from like the people I started out with, at the start you really dislike Arc 2 because suddenly rousing costs key flare, and as a fresh player you don't have as good key flare options, right?
Yep.
And then you keep playing and you keep playing and it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, and then you're like in early Arc 2 content, and suddenly Arc 1 feels really alien. I remember because when I played like my story combo, it was like Corpo, Tulu, G Murphy, Murphy, and I would always just rouse Corpo early for the big shield white stance, and then I went into the Phantasmal dive and I couldn't do that anymore, and it felt like, oh, well, that's really awkward.
Yeah, totally. Here, I'm going to actually restart this battle because I was kind of just listening to you. It is the final chapter boss of Arc 3. So if we can just pause for the comments for a little bit, just so it'll help me like think a bit, because I don't want to just play click buttons and then like die and then be like, no, I ruined my whole run. So what I should do here is that you see how I have Winkle's Rouse in hand. I should actually use up her Elmas before like rousing her. It'd be like a better play. So I'm going to try to build up Kekas here. And then I'll give... I'm not triggering one of Vortis's pursuits, which kind of sucks. But this is just a better way to be more efficient with Elmas and not just relying always on triggering that pursuit. And now I got the reload in hand, so it's really good. And now I can play a lot of these cards, which is great. I'm going to go and try to fish for some more because this gives me more stuff, which is awesome. I got reload again. Let's load it up. What's really nice about the Arc 1 content is I'm not worried about Arithmetica or Key Harmony, so I can play so many cards. Otherwise, it'd be kind of a little bit counting and just seeing they show up this little thing in Arc 2, which once you play more than 10 cards, it hurts you. But in Arc 1, you can play like as many cards as you want per turn, and it doesn't hurt you at all. Okay, so we'll end here. I'm going to go into Ultra Space next turn. And this is going to be a huge burst turn with Ultra Space and 6 Vortis reloads already put on. Whew. Okay, so look how many of these cards cost 0 or 1. This is an awesome turn for Tink. So I'm actually going to use my burst turn here. I'll flip into red stance. And then I will use Tinked. And now a lot of cards cost 0, so I can play a lot of these cards. And I'll use her to help bring this up. And I have one of these to help go with Keikis again. And we will now go into Ultra Turn before they attack me for 229, and we'll see if we can build up my shield a little bit more. I have quite a few cards in Ultra Space. Wait, oh, I can draw 2 more cards, so let's draw them. Perfect, got some reload. I can't play that card. All right. And we will play Weakness on the boss. Drop down their damage. I don't know if Fortis's reload will, if I triggered enough of it. I triggered 3. I'll wait a little bit more before I like exalt her. This boss has quite a bit of health though. It's the first like significant jump up in the game. So now actually tracking weakness and vulnerable on the boss is pretty important. So I'm trying to always keep putting weakness on her. That's why I'm playing Winkle's cards especially first. And I'm just letting this Elmas grow a little bit before I wait to do a big burst turn, because I probably will use Vortis's Exalt pretty soon, but I'd like vulnerable on my units before I, or on the boss before I do that, which I can get from Keikis's Exalt. Ooh, what is this card again? Obtain 7 strength and put a strike card from other Awakeners in your hand. So you're not going to be attacking me. I don't need the weakness now. I don't need the charge. This is kind of nice to be dispel weakness and vulnerable for myself, but I don't have that on me. I get a leap effect. Let's play this because you are attacking me with this. And I'll put all these in. So if you remember, Keikis heals me and I have bleed on here. So when I heal, I remove a little bit of the bleed stacks. And that should be like, I'm going down to 122, so I will put up shields to, again, stop the bleed from really hurting me. I think next turn I'll burst and I'll use Vortis's Exalt. I don't think she'll have enough to really kill them because I don't think my Vortis is that strong with this +2. Okay. Look at all the cards and how much they cost. So first I'll Exalt Keikis. And then I will, again, go to get Tink so that I can drop the cost of all these cards down. And by doing that, a lot of them will become 1 or 0. And I can play a bunch of cards this turn, including the weakness one, which really helps me. Can I play all the cards? Practically. 255. I can't go into that stance, so let's go into red stance and let's see how much Force's Exalt does right now. Enough to kill. Perfect. 6 turns though. That was the hardest fought boss that I've had to do ever since I started this account. Yep, I got a new posse. Lily's posse. This is great for a discard team. And do you like discard teams, Ellie?
Yes.
You love them? Well, because Corpo's the discard unit.
Yeah, crazy. So just for like a fun fact, you picked up the hook relic, right?
Yep.
The cursed one, and that gives you fragile. But because you Winkle Exalted turn 1, you actually dispelled the fragile.
Oh,
so
nice.
You only got the upsides of the cursed relic, which was really good, just like over the fight.
I didn't even notice that.
Actually deal quite a lot of damage, especially if you are fragile. So that's kind of like a silly synergy.
I didn't even notice that. That's pretty cool. Thank you for saying that. So this is one of the parts where, yeah, so both Winkle and Taint could remove the fragile. I just didn't even notice that that's what I was doing because I've never had to really care about my life total dropping down, and probably that's gonna probably be the first time I die with playing this is just, you know, me not really thinking because I think I'm just like too strong and I'm not going to have any problems. And then I just die because, you know, I just thought it would be too easy and too big of an ego. And I'm like, damn it, I should have like actually thought a little bit about what I was doing. But that's a pretty cool
Yeah,
interaction. So let's talk about that here. So this relic that is a hook. Did I skip past it?
yeah, it's a little down.
You see it?
I saw it. We scrolled a little bit past it. You need to go down again. Yes,
Okay.
that way.
There we go.
There.
Okay. So this relic, when you play it, I don't know, it's not telling me here, but when you play it or when you pick it up, the first 3 turns you get fragile. And that's what Ellie was talking about, is that when I exalt Winkle, you dispel and remove fragile from yourself. So all of the negative parts of this relic were taken away because I had Winkle in my team to dispel it. There are other units that can dispel fragile, but certain realms kind of do different things. So, like an example is Celeste can remove slow, and there's not many units that can remove slow, and she's in Aqueir. So that's um, sometimes you'll notice that, but those are little like tech solutions for certain bosses, and that's also very important when you're trying to beat the boss like under leveled, or when the bosses start to become really hard, like later on in the game. Oop, I have a whole new account here. Sweet. This is chapter 3 and chapter 4. Cool.
Your account is called Noob.
Yes.
That's so funny.
I wanted to have fun with it. So yeah, let's see. You're being my good luck charm. Let me see if I can get Murphy from this. Moonless Sky, that's what it's called.
Do you have Pity Bill?
Not really built up. I just got it with I got Horla recently, so it's all gone. But we'll see. When I've had some people like that I've been talking to are just on, because even Cade was like, here's all the codes, and I'm like, okay, we'll use the codes again. And then I got like Salvador's Wheel, like first pull. I was just like, yes, Cade.
Nice.
But no, so no Murphy yet. We'll see how long it takes to get her. She's the last.
Do you think it's worth rolling for Titan Split?
So with this account, yes, because it's just my strategy. Let's talk. I was kind of waiting like for some part to talk about the Glenstail. Nice. Um, to talk about it when you get like open up D-Tide and what you're trying to do. So when you open up D-Tide, you need to have enough units to make 5 teams. And so there's a lot of people that will tell you to roll on a certain banner, like the standard banner, just to get enough units. But what I'm doing sneakily is that this Moonless Guide actually gives me all realms. So while I'm trying to pull for Murphy, I can get a whole bunch of standard units that will fill up enough units for me to be able to do D-Tide. They won't necessarily have dupes, but I get enough that I can actually play around. So as an example, I got Nautila off of one of them because I haven't been pulling on standard chaos at all. So this is actually my other sneaky way to get more units. And then with the wheels, for the wheels, let's you're on here, so it's not just my opinion. What do you think? I'll remove this view. I'll go to the searching view. It's actually probably easier over here. Um, what do you think are like some of the best wheels that beginners should be looking for, Ellie?
I think in general, just like detached from Vortex, Blade of the Titan is just the best because of what it makes some DPS able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally pulled for Will Unyielding second
Okay.
to go along with Cav. And I also think that Amidst the Downpour is really good for the like Arif back and the just general things it can provide.
Okay.
And from there, I think Chains Unbound is an option I'm looking into, maybe rolling.
Okay.
But if we're talking purely for Vortex, I think that the best option in the standard banner for her is a Nautilus Wheel Memory Spiral, I think it's called.
Memory spell up here. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's her best option.
Okay, so for this is what I should maybe put. So I have memory spiral, you can see already unlocked, so I can maybe put that on my Vortis later on. That's pretty cool. So I'll give you some advanced knowledge drop for you. So Blade of the Titan, right? You get a huge value when you get like 0 cost after Exalt, so it's really strong for Corpo, right? Because you can Exalt and get her lightning to drop down, especially if you draw more of her lightning. But
Gotcha.
there's actually a crossover point, just so you know, that this wheel actually is stronger for damage dealers until a damage dealer gets about 65 to 70% crit rate. So people keep saying that you should have this wheel, but then it actually won't do as much damage. Whereas this, because it does, if I go to the view details, because it increases their base damage, it's actually better when they have a lower crit rate. So this is one of the like strongest wheels when you're not trying to maximize out crit rate, and also at the very start of a battle. This wheel I have on Daft to help her with have higher base damage on like a lot of her cards. But just to note, like that's actually how these two work. And what Ellie's also mentioning is that with this blade, let's view the details. When you exalt them, you have a chance to drop the arithmetic cost down by 1 of like the cards. So it's really good on units that want to play their cards after you exalt. There's some units that you want to play their cards before you exalt, and so those DPSs you don't really want them on. So as an example, Vortis's doesn't actually want this at all, because Vortis's exalt, you want to play most of her cards before you exalt her. You actually want to play, like, you want to play her reload a lot, and then you want to play exalt your other units, and then eventually, like, Vortis is the last unit you want to be exalting to try to just fully kill the rest of the whole health bar of the boss. So this wheel doesn't really do much for Vortis. So that's why you were saying memory spiral is really good. Let's look at the details for memory spiral. Is that the shield generation is plus 11, and at the turn start you retain 35% of the max shield up to 11% max HP. But more importantly, it's a realm mastery reel. That's probably why you're using it, I'm guessing, the most, right, Ellie?
Yeah, it's mainly the Realm Mastery main stack, but I did also find the effect to be quite useful since Divine Acre is a bit harder to pilot in regards of survivability.
Mm.
So being able to block a hit and then retain some shield for the next turn is really valuable, especially in the early game where you can't Murphy Exalt every turn.
Yes. um, and then Happy Magic shows another one, right? So this is another Realm Mastery reel, and after the wielder releases an Exalt, they gain 3 Elmas and 35 Key Flare. So this is kind of good if you have to Exalt her more than once. But most of the time, I've just been trying to Exalt Fortress only once. This one's the part where you get that Kazia spam to be able to exalt a lot of people and do the little cheese things with Kazia and Vortis. I was kind of hoping I would actually get Kazia and Winkle to show that kind of interaction, but I didn't get her, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's
My
also a little sad because the wheel is decent,
mm-hmm.
but it has a bit of diminishing returns on Vortex, especially because her base Aliemus is higher than the normal units, right?
Yeah.
And so the free Aliemus, especially at early investment, just feels like a trickle of investment into an Exalt that's super expensive.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I actually got this wheel first to put on Lily, but I'm also really big into Death Res. I think that's starting to become more popular now. You've kind of seen some people with Death Res more and more. And the big reason why I like it is that you can hit above your weight with Death Res because you don't worry about dying like once or twice. And then you can always like play higher levels if you just play well. Versus like shield, you can get, just as you mentioned, like screwed over if you can't create as much shield, right? So Death Res kind of gives you like a little bit of more leeway, but it's also harder to play at on certain levels. So it's just the way you go. But this is another Death Res reels. It's also really good. And I haven't gotten this one yet. So after playing a card, gain shield equal to their 6% of their defense. For each tentacle, increase the shield by 1.5. So that's pretty cool. And then this wheel, people used to say was like one of the best wheels, and that's because you would put it on units that everybody kind of had at the time, which is Theiss and G-Doll. And the main reason for that is after those two units exalted, is that the ailments generated by the wielder increases by 9%. So both Theiss and G-Doll create ailments with their exalts for the rest of your team. And the wielder gains 140 key flare after releasing exalt. So this is what people were trying to maximize, to be able to have a plus 12 wheel plus G-Doll or Theiss's original Sig wheel on them. But it's kind of recently fallen from favor. People don't like it as much, which is interesting to see. Yeah, so those are kind of the ones that people normally get. So Blade of the Titan, Wheel Unyielding, Amidst the Downpour, Death of Miss Coral, Chains Unbound, and then Lullaby Devoured is another one that is a Death Res wheel. And then some of the Ultra wheels are a little bit more niche, but they are really great. So Path Forsaken, I really like on certain damage dealers, because after the wielder deals damage, there's this becomes, I think, 30% chance to draw one of their command cards and reduce its arithmetic cost by 1. So units that like to play their cards a lot, putting this on them is really great. So I'm actually thinking of maybe putting this onto my G-Lot, so that I can just pull more of her cards and then play more of her cards, and it'll be like cheaper to play it. But this is a really great wheel as well for certain units, but it's not as universal as Blade is, or Willed Unyielding, or Death of Miss Coral, or Lullaby Devoured, just because these ones giving death res and these two giving your damage dealer a lot of damage are just really great units, are really great wheels to have for your units.
I think it's kind of important to almost add on when you talk about death res that it's a bit intimidating as a new player to rely on death res, but we're sort of going like the card game cycle, where we're realizing, oh, our HP, our death res, stuff like that are still resources that we can aggressively use. So by investing into death res and relying on it, if you're not gambling like a 20% chance, you can kind of get away with a lot of silly things that aren't as obvious at first.
Yes.
So you can accelerate fights quite a bit.
You kind of highlighted a key point there. So as I told you, like at one point, I like playing Magic with Black, and Black uses its life as a resource, and so Death Res is very similar to Black, and I guess that's why I like gravitated towards it, because I'm like, I don't care as long as I'm not dead, I can have 1 life left, and I can still win, right? But there's a lot
I
of
come from a Yu-Gi-Oh background, so
okay.
I went from the like, oh, I want to be at high HP all the time, to, well, it doesn't really matter if I use my life point as resources as long as I have some at the end and win the duel.
Exactly, right? So but that's really key to talk about. A lot of people really like, when you're a beginner, to have a big shield and never see their life total go down. Like even losing 1 life is like a big shock to a lot of beginners. And I think that's actually one of the main reasons people say to play blue when you're starting, is just because you never see the life total go down. Whereas like playing Caro, you see your life total yo-yo all the time, where it goes down and up, down and up. And there's some people that probably would get sick to their stomach when you're a beginner to see that. And then Ultras, it's changed a lot over the years, but Ultras kind of like can play on any life total. It doesn't really care. It just cares about like really setting up its burst turn. Um, and you kind of have to be okay with your life can be anywhere. So this one, at least with Caro, you know, like if your life's really down low, you'll get it back. And with blue, you know that it's going to be like you're going to shield and you're going to try to keep your life total pretty high the whole time.